Another question is, for those of you for whom you've never seen a Bergman film, the question is, should you buy the Ingmar Bergman's cinema box set? So again, for those of you who have never seen a Bergman film, should you buy this box set? And I think I would say that the answer to that question, at least what I think, is no, you shouldn't buy the box set. If you've not seen a Bergman film, don't buy this box set. And why do I say that? Because it's expensive. It's an expensive item. And as much as I love this, and as much as I say to everyone, you should get this, you should get this, I would say very strongly that anyone who has never watched a Bergman film shouldn't get this box set. But you should watch maybe one or two Bergman films. And based on your reactions to those Bergman films, for instance, if you like them or if you love them, then I would say get this set. Okay, so what do I mean? So there are many films by Ingmar Bergman that are already available outside of this set. And I'm sure there are many ways in which you can try to track them down. Of course, the Criterion Collection has a number of the Bergman films already released either individually or in other similar box sets, the Eclipse series, early Bergman set, or the Faith trilogy, or Fanny Alexander, and Smiles of a Summer Night, Summer Interlude, Summer with Monica, Wild Strawberries, and yes, and others. So Magic Flute. And so you can have your experience with Bergman through the individual titles that are available in the Criterion Collection. And I think that is a perfectly fine way to approach Bergman cinema. I would say, based on my own experience with Bergman, that I think if you watch either one or both of the titles that I'm about to show you, and if you like them, then I would say get this film, or get this box set. Okay, so what am I talking about? So the first film I would say recommend watching first before deciding whether or not to get this box set. The first film I would recommend is this, okay? The Seventh Seal. Okay, you should watch The Seventh Seal first, okay? If you watch The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman, and you at least like it, you at least think it's interesting, you at least think there's something there, maybe it's something you want to explore further, you think it's captivating, you think it's quite revealing, it's quite engrossing, enthralling, perhaps, then you should get this box set. You should get this box set because that means that you are on the same wavelength as Bergman. And this is perhaps the film where he is dealing quite extensively with a very profound and very highly charged theme that he deals with. That is the existence or non-existence of God. And so this is a sort of a litmus test, I think. This is one where if you watch this film and you think, I don't like this film at all, I think this is the most boring thing in the world, then I suggest that you probably shouldn't get this box set because it's probably not going to be your cup of tea. And that's perfectly fine. Don't think that you have to, if you want to explore cinema, you have to love Ingmar Bergman. No, that's not the point. You don't have to love anything. Again, your film and cinematic journey is your own, so you should do that. And I think I would very much respect you if you loved Bergman, and I would very much respect you if you didn't love Bergman. So it's really who you are and your life experiences. So if you don't respond to Bergman, then that's fine. That's perfectly fine. And in that case, therefore, it's probably not in your best interest, therefore, to spend however many hundreds of dollars on this particular item. So that's what I mean. That's all I mean. I don't mean any kind of highbrow or lowbrow thing. No. Don't be ashamed if you don't like a Bergman film. Okay. So, but again, you don't know unless you try, right? So I'd say give it a try with The Seventh Seal. And if you like it, then the box set is for you. If you don't like it, then perhaps you should wait on the box set. Okay. But perhaps The Seventh Seal, if you just watch The Seventh Seal and you're still maybe unsure, then here's another film that I would suggest that you watch. And if you love it, or if you respond to it, then I think you should get the box set. So there's The Seventh Seal, which is the first recommendation. The next recommendation I would suggest is this one, Wild Strawberries. Now, Wild Strawberries is it's a cinematic gem in my opinion, but it is a film that is so much dealing with another aspect of Bergman's cinema, namely the idea of looking back on one's youth, the idea of different generations trying to connect with each other and either succeeding or failing, and the reasons for such connections or lack thereof. There are also glimpses of married life, different marriages, and how one's emotions are crystallized or decomposing with respect to a certain marriage situation. Or there is the idea of old age and looking back on one's youth, and also the idea of happiness, and also the notion of fathers and sons, and the relationship between an elder and an in-law, that sort of thing. So, and the idea of a family dynamic and what it means to be a family, and what it means to be a father, and what it means to be a son. So all these themes can be summed up in one word, sort of familial, family, having to do with the family. So, and that is, I think, a very much, it's akin to the idea of love, a familial love. That's also related to the idea of a romantic love. That is a love between, two people that usually represents itself either in some kind of marriage situation or not. And the idea of what if there is no love there to begin with, and what happens to the marriage? How does that thing exist, etc. So all these things come together in this film. And so therefore, if you watch this film and you respond very positively to this film, then I say get the box set. It is definitely worth the money to you. On the contrary, if you watch this film and you think, no way, this is definitely not for me, I don't want to think about this kind of stuff, I don't like it at all, that's perfectly fine as well. In which case, therefore, I would say don't get the box set, because again, I think you'd probably want to spend your money with other things that I think you would find more fruitful. So that's Wild Strawberries. But if you're still on the fence after seeing these two films, there's one more that I would suggest. And this is the one where I think a lot of people would probably see as another seminal work. Persona. Now, this is a very, I would assert that this is quite a different kind of film from Bergman than we see in The Seventh Seal or Wild Strawberries. And this is a film that is, I would say, essentially, it's about the ability or inability to penetrate something that is on its surface seemingly inscrutable. And what do I mean by that? This is essentially the crisis or the sort of the ability or inability to understand another human being. And so this is shown through how we communicate with each other, how one human being communicates with another human being. This idea of how the idea of communication leads to some form of identity, right? Because identity is not how we perceive ourselves is not in a vacuum. We don't conceive of ourselves and our identity just by ourselves. No, we think about it in the context of our surrounding environment, and therefore in the context of how other people view us, and thus how we view other people. And all this forms a web of complexity and, dare I say it, deception that is at the heart of the exploration. Persona. That's what persona is, in my view. And it's that and so much more. And it is quite... and there are so many things that are enmeshed in that kind of exploration, right? This idea, how does one human being connect with another human being? Of course, there's verbal communication. There's also kind of professionalism that's at play there. There's also a bit of rivalry. There's also a bit of sexual tension. There's also sexuality and sex. There's also the idea of learning and absorbing information from another, and perhaps absorbing too much. There's also the idea of influence, and also the idea of passing things on to the other person. And I think at the heart of that also is how we communicate with each other and how we receive information back and forth. And this goes towards the very essence of what it means to be existing. Right, it forms the very essence of this sort of existential concept or crisis, if you will. So, this is at once a very challenging film and also a very baffling film. And I mean those both positively, depending on your point of view, or negatively, depending on your point of view. So, if you watch this film Persona and you think, I'm done, I don't like this kind of stuff at all, don't like it. And that's probably the box is not for you. But if you watch this film and at the very least you think there's something interesting there, I don't get it, but there's something interesting there, and I think it might work for me if I try to give it another go, so to speak, then the box set is definitely something for you. Okay, so I would say the litmus test for whether or not you should get the box set, if you are new to Bergman, are The Seventh Seal and Wild Strawberries and this one, Persona. So if you watch 1, 2, or all 3 of these films and you think that maybe you like all of them, maybe you like 2 out of 3, maybe you like even 1 out of 3, I don't know. But if you find something of interest in any of these films, then I think that means that the filmography of Bergman will do something for you. And if it does, then therefore the purchase of this particular box set is something that you should consider. Okay, my friends, I hope that was helpful, and let me say that if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you have to say. I hope you think these choices were okay. If you don't like them, then I apologize sincerely. Again, these are my own choices and just based on my own, as I say, very elementary understanding of Bergman cinema. So, yes. So, with that, my friends, I will see you in the next video. So until then, cheers.